Hey, good afternoon. I wanted to touch base about a few things that came up today in the practice, but before I do that, I wanted to thank everybody who watches and ask you if you find any of these videos and content to be positive, uplifting, and helpful, to please like, subscribe, and share, hitting that button, and tell your friends about it. I love doing these videos for you. I started doing them a little under 2 years ago. There's several hundred of them out right now, and I kind of felt compelled to start doing them because, one, it made the practice of law, I think, relevant to me in a way that it never had before, and allowed me to kind of interact with clients and customers and friends and neighbors in a way that I never had before, and also because I watched a video produced by a spiritual advisor in another country who was talking about how the internet is probably the most important thing to date that mankind may have ever done. Maybe not the most important thing ever, but certainly in the very, very top 5 or 10. And that it was imperative on all of us to use the internet as a change for positivity and good, and a force for good in the world. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing these, and I love them, and I hope you find them enjoyable or helpful. And without further ado, I want to talk about the reason why litigation matters are time consuming, and how the length of time that a case may go on, there may be some misconceptions about how fast a case can possibly move, and then about the length of time that it takes to resolve a case. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share, and I'm going to jump into our topic right now. So anyway, why things take a while in litigation is because they are time consuming. And Will Rogers had a saying back in the 30s, just as true then as it is today, and there's two things you don't want to see being made, and that's law and sausage. And if you've ever sat through an episode of C-SPAN watching congressional or senatorial debates, it can be painful. It can be difficult. And I have sat through my share of political debate and discussion, and I'm not talking about the exciting stuff, watching the primaries or the presidential debates or things like that, where you can get your heart racing and your blood pumping and you get passionate about America. No, I'm talking about the tedium of municipal street ordinance disputes and the tedium of things that we have to have, but it's not very exciting. And litigation can be like that. There are stages to it that are required, and one thing that a great lawyer taught me and a good mentor and friend taught me is just because it's fast doesn't mean it's right. And it's always better to slow down, reflect, and make sure, as Davy Crockett said, be sure you're right, then go ahead. So that's one reason that litigation can take a while. Other reasons that litigation can take a while is because the other parties to the litigation have just as much of a right to determine the truth of whatever their claims and issues that are in the controversy are, which means they get a chance to ask their questions as well before the case proceeds to trial. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit because there are some steps to litigation that there's some misconceptions, and I think they're in part promulgated by our media, which we love, I love, but cases aren't resolved in 30 minutes like they are on popular sitcoms like Denny Crane and LA Law, or even in 55 minutes with a few commercial breaks. It takes much longer to resolve a case. It can take years to resolve a case. So